So today we have a cool geometrical theorem. Take a semicircle, then inscribe two more semicircles inside it as you can see in this diagram. Then draw a complete circle that is tangent to all these three semicircles. Now if we are taking the radius of these two inscribed semicircle as equals to a and b, and the radius of this complete circle as equals to x. Now because of this arrangement and this pattern, there is a nice relation between them. The relation is that 1 upon x would be always equals to 1 upon a plus 1 upon b minus 1 upon a plus b. So let us see the solution. How can we prove this? So first of all, we will start the solution by taking the point O as the center of this biggest semicircle. Okay. Now here we have the radius of this two inscribed semicircle as a and b, and also the radius of this circle as equals to x. But the radius of this biggest semicircle is missing. So why not calculate it in terms of either a, b, x, whatever it comes. So let us calculate it now. So now let this particular point be equals to a. This point is already equals to o. This be equals to b, and this point be equals to c. And the center of this two semicircle be as equals to p and q. Okay. Now from a to b, the complete length is the diameter of this semicircle. So if the radius of this semicircle is equals to a, the diameter would be equals to 2 times a. Now from b to c, it is the diameter of this semicircle having the radius is equals to b. Therefore the diameter becomes 2 times b. So the complete length is going to be equals to 2 times a plus 2 times b. So 2 times a plus 2 times b is the complete length. Now the complete length is from the point A to the point C. So AC is ultimately the diameter of this semicircle. So if the diameter of this semicircle is 2 times A plus 2 times B, therefore the radius of this semicircle is going to be equals to diameter upon 2. So 2 times A plus 2 times B upon 2 would give me A plus B. So here we have that the radius of the biggest semicircle. So I'm writing the radius B for big, and this semicircle is going to be equals to A plus B. Okay. Now let us calculate some of the other lengths in this diagram. So before that, I am just removing this previous thing. But now we have that the radius of this biggest semicircle is equals to a plus b. So now we are going to utilize it so as to get some other lengths. So from point A to the point O, it is the radius of this biggest semicircle that is going to be equals to a plus b. AP is the radius of this particular semicircle, so it is going to have a length that is equals to a. The complete length AO is a plus b. AP is already equals to a, so the remaining length that is from point P to the point O, it is going to be equals to a plus b minus a, that is going to be equals to b. So that is the required thing. So I'm removing this and all this thing. From point P to the point O, the length is going to be equals to b. Similarly over here from point O to the point C, the length is a plus b. Now CQ is the radius of this particular semicircle, so it is going to have a length that is equals to b. Complete length is a plus b. This much length is already equals to b. So from point O to the point Q, the length is going to be equals to a plus b minus b, that is going to be equals to a. So I'm just removing all this thing and writing down the final thing that we have obtained. So finally we have got that PO is having a length that is equals to b, and OB is having a length that is equals to a. PO is b and OB is equals to a. Okay, so here we have calculated the lengths of some of the basic line segments. Now to move further to the solution, we have to take the help of this particular theorem. If there are two circles that are tangent to each other either internally or externally, the point of the tangent and the center of that two circles would always be collinear, no matter the circles are tangent internally or externally. Now the same fact we are going to utilize it over here. So now as it was given that this complete circle is tangent to all these three semicircles, so first of all, let us utilize that this complete circle is tangent to this semicircle having radius is equals to a. So as per the theorem that we just discussed, if I will draw a line segment from the center of this semicircle to the center of that circle, it will also pass to the tangent point that is over here. Okay, now this circle was also tangent to this particular semicircle. So if I will draw a line segment from the center of this circle to the center of this semicircle, it will also pass to the tangent point. Okay. So as it has been given that this complete circle is tangent to this biggest semicircle, and here in this particular case it is internally, and we have just seen that the theorem works even the circles are tangent internally. So if I will draw a line segment from the center of this biggest circle, that is the point O, a line segment from point O passing to the center of this circle and to the tangent point. So these 3 points are going to be collinear, means they are going to be straight line. So here we have drawn all the required line segments. Now let us calculate their lengths. If there is a straight line, the point A, the point B and the point C, the total length of AC can be calculated as AB plus BC. The same thing can be happen over here. From point P to this particular tangent point, it is the radius of this semicircle having radius is equals to A. So this much length is equals to A. from the tangent point to this center, it is the radius of this complete circle that is having a length equals to x. And as this line is a straight line, means these 3 points are collinear, this complete length becomes a plus x. Similarly over here, this much length is x, this much length is b, so the complete length becomes b plus x. Now the middle leg. Now from here to here, it is the radius of this circle, that is the complete one, so it is having a length that is equals to x. And as we have calculated that the radius of this biggest semicircle is a plus b, so from point O to the point R, this point let it be equals to R. So from point O to the point R, it is the radius of this biggest semicircle, so it is going to have a length a plus b. This much length is already equals to x, so the remaining length, that is from this point to this point, is going to be longer minus the shorter, so it is going to have a length a plus b minus x. So here the diagram is looking quite messy, and what we required is this triangle only. So let me redraw this triangle outside this diagram. So now we are going to draw the same triangle outside this diagram. So here is the complete triangle first of all, that is like this way. Then we have this middle leg like this way. This much length is a plus x. This much length is b plus x. This much length is a plus b, radius of this biggest semicircle, minus the radius of complete circle, that is a plus b minus x. Now in the beginning we have calculated this basis also. Here is the point P, here is the point O, and here is the point B. Now in the beginning we have calculated that PO is equals to B and OB is equals to A. So this point is equals to A. So now we are going to utilize this particular triangle so as to prove our theorem. And to do so, I will take this particular angle as equals to theta. And now remember the cosine rule. If there is a triangle having the side as A, B and C and the angle is theta, then cos theta is equals to squares of the adjacents added together. So A square plus B square minus the square of opposite. So minus C square upon 2 times the product of adjacents. So 2 times A times B. So the same cosine rule we will apply in this triangle. So first of all, we'll take this particular angle theta and apply the cosine rule in this triangle. Now let us mark the top point of this triangle. So let it be equals to S. Now look in this particular triangle, that is triangle SPO. We are going to apply the cosine rule in this same triangle, that is triangle SPO. So we are going to take the angle theta. So cos theta is going to be equals to squares of the adjacent added together. The adjacent sides are a plus x and b. So a plus x the whole square plus b square, now minus the square of opposite. So opposite to angle theta is a plus b minus x. So a plus b minus x the whole square upon 2 times the product of adjacent. So the adjacent sides are a plus x and b. So 2 times b times a plus x. So here we have got the value of cos of theta from this particular triangle. Now look in this triangle, that is triangle SPB, that is the biggest triangle that you can see. In this triangle also this angle theta is inscribed. So now from the perspective of this biggest triangle SPB, cos theta is going to be equals to squares of the adjacent added together. So adjacent side is a plus x and this complete length is going to be a plus b. So a plus x the whole square plus a plus b the whole square minus the square of opposite. So opposite to angle theta is b plus x. So minus b plus x the whole square upon 2 times the product of adjacent. So 2 times a plus x multiplied with a plus b. So here we have got a first equation and here we have a second equation. Now what you can observe in common between these two equations, that is their LHS is equal, that is their left hand side is equal, that is cos theta and cos theta. So we can simply compare their right hand side, that is this equals to this. So let us write it down. So the RHS of the first one is a plus x the whole square plus b square minus a plus b minus x the whole square upon 2 times b times a plus x, and this thing is going to be equals to a plus x the whole square plus a plus b the whole square minus b plus x the whole square, and in the denominator it is going to be equals to 2 times a plus x multiplied with a plus b. Now we can see that 2 times a plus x and 2 times a plus x got cancelled out, and we need to open these brackets in the numerator also. So the numerator of the first one would be like a square plus x square plus 2 times a times x plus b square minus a square minus b square minus x square minus 2ab plus 2bx plus 2ax. And now we can see that a square plus x square plus b square, negative a square, negative b square and negative x square got cancelled out. So what is remaining is 2ax minus 2ab plus 2bx plus 2ax. And now let us open the bracket in this side also. So here we will have a square plus x square plus 2ax plus a square plus b square plus 2ab minus b square minus x square minus 2bx. So now here we can see that positive x square, negative x square, positive b square and negative b square got cancelled out. So what is remaining is a square plus 2ax plus 2ab minus 2bx. So now let us write down the remaining things. So the remaining thing from this side is 2ax plus 2ax, that is 4ax minus 2ab plus 2bx, and in the denominator is containing b, that is over here. And what is remaining from this side is a square plus a square, that is 2a square plus 2ab minus 2bx plus 2ax, and the denominator of this particular thing is going to be equals to a plus b, and these both things are equal. Now let us simplify this thing. So first of all we can say that 2, 2, 2, 2, this 2, and it will become 2. From the table of 2 this all got cancelled out, and now let us do the cross multiplication. So on the left hand side we will have 2 times a square x minus a square b plus abx plus 2 times abx minus ab square plus b square x, and this thing is going to be equals to, now b is multiplied over here, so a square b plus ab square minus b square x plus abx. And now we can see that a into b into x and a into b into x from both the sides can be cancelled out. And now in the next step we will shift this, this and this on the right hand side. So what we will finally have is 2 times a square x plus 2 times abx is going to be equals to 2 times a square b plus 2 times b square a minus 2 times b square x. So this is the final thing that we have. Now we can again see that 2, 2, 2, 2 means all these 2 can be factored out. So what we will have is a square x plus abx, and now we can simply shift this thing from the right hand side to the left hand side. So we will have positive b square x, and this thing is going to be equals to a square b plus b square a. And now we can take x common from the left hand side. So after we took x common, so inside the bracket it is going to have a square plus ab plus b square, and this thing is going to be equals to a square b plus b square a. So now we will divide both the sides by x, so we will have a square plus ab plus b square is going to be equals to a square b plus ab square upon x. Now we can simply divide both the sides by a square b plus ab square, so we will have a square plus ab plus b square upon a square b plus ab square is going to be equals to 1 upon x. So here we have brought the value of 1 upon x. Now we have to just simplify this particular thing. So the numerator I can also write it like this way, a square plus 2ab plus b square minus ab. As you can see that this positive ab I have split it as 2ab minus ab. Now a square plus 2ab plus b square can be written as a plus b the whole square. So the numerator will turn out to be a plus b the whole square minus ab, and in the denominator I can take ab common. So ab I have taken common, so inside the bracket a plus b, and this thing is going to be equals to 1 upon x. Now I can separate the denominator over here. So we will have a plus b the whole square and divided by ab multiplied with a plus b minus ab upon ab multiplied with a plus b, and this thing is going to be equals to 1 upon x. As in the numerator a plus b the whole square and in the denominator a plus b to the power 1, so this will cancel out this square, and again we can separate the denominator over here, that is a plus b upon ab can be written as a upon ab plus b upon ab minus ab upon ab multiplied with a plus b as it is, and this thing is going to be equals to 1 upon x. So now we can see that a and a got cancelled out, b and b got cancelled out, ab and ab got cancelled out. So we finally have that 1 upon x is going to be equals to 1 upon a plus 1 upon b minus 1 upon a plus b, that is over here. So here we have got the value of 1 upon x, that is 1 upon a plus 1 upon b minus 1 upon a plus b, and that's the answer that we were looking for. So this was my way to solve this particular question. If you have any other method other than this, you can do comment below, and if it's hard to comment, you can send it to me on my Instagram or Discord. The links are in the description.